I remember my first trip to Disneyland as an adult when I hadn't been there since I was 3. I was with my family and we had just ridden Pirates of the Caribbean. When we came out from the ride, we headed over to the Rivers of America, and right at that moment, the Fantasmic scene that used to be in the show with Pirates of the Caribbean on the Columbia came right past us on the river. We stopped and watched it, and I remember thinking, what a great coincidence, and I marveled at how magical the moment felt. The feelings we get when seeing Disney shows can create magical memories that last a lifetime. Even if you don't have time to see every show, try to make time for some, or at least one show during your trip. Just make sure to look up the schedule for the shows and be aware of what will be happening during your trip to avoid disappointment for missing something that you wanted to see. Parades vary throughout the year. The main parade at Disneyland is Magic Happens, but this parade is suspended when there are seasonal periods of the year such as Halloween and Christmas. This past summer in 2024, there were 2 parades, Magic Happens at Disneyland and Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration at DCA. During the Halloween season, the Frightfully Fun Parade is at DCA during Oogie Boogie nights only, and it can be viewed if you have a ticket to the Oogie Boogie Bash. During the Christmas season, the Christmas Fantasy Parade is at Disneyland. At Disneyland, the parades alternate what end of the parade route that they start at. The 2 ends of the parade are on Main Street and by It's a Small World. So, if you're opposite the starting end, you'll have a longer wait before the parade starts for you. Usually the end closest to It's a Small World is less busy, so you can look there for a good spot. You can also snag a good spot by the Hub, which is near the Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse statue by the castle, if you hang out around there about an hour before showtime. The cast members will take down the ropes and you can get a front row spot without having to wait a couple of hours. You can also find a similar situation near the fire station if you wait there about 20 to 30 minutes before the parade starts. At DCA, none of the parades that they've had in the past couple of years have been so popular that you have to find a spot long before it starts. Usually about 5 to 10 minutes before they start is sufficient. However, if they ever bring back Paint the Night, I suspect you'd need to find a spot ahead of time like you do at Disneyland, as this is a very popular parade. Fireworks change throughout the year. In 2024, they had Wondrous Journeys, Together Forever, a Pixar nighttime spectacular. In the fall, they have Halloween Screams, and the Christmas season will feature the Believe in Holiday Magic show. You can also experience Fire of the Rising Moons, which is watching the fireworks from Galaxy's Edge with Star Wars music. Fireworks are usually nightly from May to Labor Day, and during the Christmas season in November and December. They're also nightly for a few weeks in March and April for spring break. For the rest of the year, they're Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights only. When they don't have fireworks, they have nightly projection shows at Disneyland. To find a prime spot for the fireworks, you usually have to find a spot a couple of hours in advance. But if you're okay being further back a bit or not centered, you can usually get a decent spot an hour or so before the show. Just make sure there are no trees obstructing your view. You can also watch fireworks from It's a Small World, and it's usually not as busy there. If you want to watch them from Galaxy's Edge, usually you can get a good spot just a few minutes before the show starts. Disney just announced a new dining package for fireworks in Galaxy's Edge at Docking Bay 7. This new dining package will be available beginning in November of 2024. However, Disney has not yet announced when bookings will be open, but they did say that booking details will be coming soon. Also, keep in mind that fireworks could be cancelled any night due to high winds. They test the wind levels before every show. Even if it might not appear windy, it still could be unsafe for them to run the show. If that's the case, usually they'll just do a projection show instead. At DCA, they have World of Color nightly for most of the year, which is a water and projection show. For World of Color, you can get a free virtual queue for access to the preferred viewing area. The virtual queues are released on the Disneyland app at 12 o'clock noon, and everyone in your party that you're getting a virtual queue for need to be checked in the park to get it. If you have a virtual queue, you can enter the viewing area approximately 45 minutes before the show starts. If you don't have a virtual queue, you can go to the standby viewing area about 30 to 45 minutes before the show starts to find a spot. The best areas are anywhere across from the Pixar Pal Around, although not too far from either edge on the sides. Also, keep in mind if you're right up front, you will probably get wet. If you're trying to maximize your day, go to the second showing as it's right at park closing, so you won't have to use park hours to watch it. At Disneyland, Fantasmic is a popular nightly show in Frontierland on the Rivers of America. When there are 2 showings of Fantasmic, If you can stay later, it's always better to get to the second showing because it will be far less busy and you won't need to get there as early to snag a good spot. Otherwise, it's best to look for a good spot at least an hour before showtime. For any show, you'll need to be in the taped off or roped off sections to watch the show. The walkways behind the viewing areas need to stay clear. There are special roped off areas for dining packages that you'll need a voucher to watch from. You can check out my video on this if you click above. If you're uncertain of where you're allowed to watch a show from, you can always ask a cast member. When viewing the show, it's better to be closer to the center of the stage area. FreshBaked made a great strategy guide video in 2022, so you can check that out for more detailed tips. I'll put the link in the description. For all of these shows, the parades, fireworks, Fantasmic, and World of Color, you can also get special dining or dessert packages, which I've made a video about and I'll link to above. Besides the big shows, there are smaller shows all throughout both parks, and they're wonderful to just stop and enjoy for a few minutes here and there. Check out the app for entertainment options and showtimes at Disneyland, including the Disneyland Band, the Pearly Band, the Dapper Dans, the Straw Hatters, the Bootstrappers, the Jambalaya Jazz Band, and the Flag Retreat Ceremony. At DCA, there's Avengers Assemble, The Amazing Spider-Man, the Dora Milaje, the Guardians of the Galaxy Dance-Off, the Five and Dime, the Green Army Patrol, and the Paradise Garden Bandstand. In the afternoons, when rides are crowded and it's hotter, at Disneyland, go see indoor shows like the Tiki Room or storytelling at the Royal Theatre. Well, that's not really inside, but at least it's in the shade. Or at DCA, go to Animation Academy, Turtle Talk with Crush, Veil Her Magic, and the Disney Junior Dance Party for little kids. Those 4 are all in Hollywoodland at DCA. I'll just cover characters briefly here because I don't think there's enough for a separate video. Meeting characters is pretty easy at Disneyland and DCA, and you can get a photo with them or autograph without waiting in a long line. You can sort the map in the app for characters, and you'll find spots around the park with lines to meet characters at various times throughout the day. A lot of times they're just roaming around and there isn't a line, so you kind of just jump in and be respectful to others and grab a quick picture or say hello. Places like Galaxy's Edge, Fantasyland, and Avengers Campus usually have a lot of characters roaming around like this. There are also some dedicated character meet and greet locations in both parks where you line up and can get a picture with characters. At Disneyland, you can meet Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse at each of their respective houses in Mickey's Toontown. These meet and greets are in the app, on the map under Attractions. You can meet princesses at the Royal Hall, which is to the left of the castle. You can meet Tinkerbell in Pixie Hollow. These meet and greets are in the app, on the map under Entertainment, although I don't think they show up when it's past their meet and greet ending time. I found information on Pixie Hollow and the Tinkerbell meet and greet on the Disneyland website for today, and the ending time was at 2:30. But when I checked the app at 6 o'clock, she wasn't on there. If all else fails, ask a cast member for assistance. Occasionally, they have special meet and greets near Big Thunder Mountain. There are also seasonal meet and greets like Santa during Christmas or Jack Skellington and Sally during Halloween. At DCA, you can meet Lightning McQueen, Tow Mater, Red the fire truck, and sometimes even Cruz Ramirez by the Cozy Comb Motel. You can meet Anna or Elsa or Olaf, or sometimes a combination of them, in the same building as the Animation Academy and Turtle Talk with Crush off Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywoodland. You can meet Baymax or Hero at San Francisco Square. There are sometimes Pixar characters on Pixar Pier. Occasionally they have special meet and greets by Redwood Creek Challenge, and as I said before, there are characters that roam around the lands too. You'll see a lot of that in Avengers Campus. They also have lineups to meet characters like Iron Man or Spider-Man in Avengers Campus as well. So my main advice with characters that have a designated meeting place is to know the schedule and plan accordingly. Also, in the case of locations that have multiple character options like Anna, Elsa, Olaf, Baymax, Hero, Lightning McQueen, etc., that meet at the same spot, but not necessarily at the same time, prepare yourself or your little ones accordingly. You don't want to hype them up for meeting Elsa and then they're disappointed that it's Olaf. And as far as roaming characters, just hope for the best and that you'll meet who you really want to meet and have fun with it. And treat them with the utmost respect and understanding. They're really all so amazing and you can have some really special interactions. And if you really want to guarantee character meet and greets and you can afford it, book one of the 3 character dining options, which I discuss in more detail in the link above. In my next video, we'll talk in more detail about the Disneyland app, so look out for that video. And if this is too much to remember, grab a copy of my ebook when it's released this fall. It's been delayed from early September because the series has taken me much longer to make than I anticipated. Anyway, it's packed with everything you'll learn in these videos, plus extra secrets, tips, and some Disney history to make your trip even more magical.